Wizard News!
Hello, wizards and witches. Welcome back to another edition of Wizard News, the most trusted news source for what's happening in the world. Today we have surprising news out of Banandenburg. But first, let's hear from Sammy Sneedleback on the current situation in Garl's seat.
Thank you, Anchor Wizard. The pandemonium and the riots that have been raging here have largely subsided, and the drug levels in the water have returned to pre-riot levels. Reconstruction efforts have been headed by the Church of Lothander and the new king. However, a large legal battle has been occurring between the Church of Lothander and a small cult over land rights and has been slowing the progress. I interviewed the local head of the cult, a Mr. Fiddlesticks, on the situation. Due to certain views of the cult, however, its name will be censored in order to ensure public safety. Mr. Fiddlesticks, what exactly are the beliefs of your religion?
Well, yeah, that's a really great question. Probably one of the best that I've ever heard. Yeah, well, we believe that the one true God is, and that he's a really, really cool guy. In fact, he actually gave me an idol and trusted me to get him drugs while he was here in the city, and yeah.
Are you saying that you actually met your God? What exactly are the tenets that he taught you?
Oh, yeah, like that. Oh wow, that's a really tough one. Something about worshiping him, making idols, sowing chaos and dissent among non-believers, and drug use. Yeah, drug use. Hmm.
Fascinating. You don't seem very educated on the doctrinal beliefs that he taught you. Does this mean he was a bad teacher, or just that you lack a sufficient amount of intelligence?
Yeah, I don't know about that one, but oh yeah, he also had me hide his wife's body after he killed her, and then tasked me with overseeing the land that he purchased with the goal of glorifying him. Yeah, yeah.
Wait, he killed his wife? That's horrifying. Anyways, how is the legal battle going?
I'm not sure.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I haven't been to the hearings since I've been too busy building statues and getting local poor people to build stoneworks and smithies so that we can continue building more on the land, you know.
I spoke with the judge overseeing the case earlier today. Isn't there an injunction against any building on the land until the results of the case?
Well, probably, I'd imagine so, in fact. But the will of is to be followed before the laws of mere mortals. I remember that one.
Hmm. All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Fiddlesticks. I think that's enough. We reached out to the king, the court, and the Church of Lothander, but they all declined to comment until the case had been decided. We will continue to monitor the situation as it develops. Back to you, Anchor Wizard.
I think I speak for all of us at Wizard News and the broader world when I extend my condolences to gnomes worldwide and my hopes that religious extremism in Garl's seat comes to an end soon. Now, on to our next story. The naming ceremony of the next Banana Lord of Banandenburg occurred yesterday, and what was supposed to be a joyous day nearly turned into a disaster. Sammy Sniddleback is there now with the details.
The naming ceremony of the next Banana Lord of Banandenburg was interrupted by a strange scene, where the young lord was lifted from his cradle into the sky by terrorists who plotted with radical elements in the aristocracy. Luckily, the wizard police were made aware far beforehand, and no harm was done to the young lord. I was able to interview the chief of the wizard police for the entire region, who happens to be an expert on local history, the cowboy wizard. Thank you for taking the time, Mr. Cowboy Wizard. I'm sure the past days have been busy for you.
Oh, well, all in a day's work, as my pappy would say.
I'm just glad we were able to avoid a more serious outcome. Well, thank you for your service. I'm glad there's people like you in the force. What exactly was the plot against the young lord, and how did you come to know about it?
We got reports of a potential plot formulating about 2 months ago when a certain wizard familiar with the city reported dissent among the aristocracy. Apparently, a disgruntled duchess had come into contact with one Mr. Billy Chimpson, who had started seeking potential actors to help carry out the plot. While I cannot give the specific details as to the nature of the individuals involved as the investigation is ongoing, they seem to be linked to a cult that worships a certain international terrorist. I can, however, give you in Wizard News an exclusive recording from one interview of one of the individuals, assuming his appearance is censored due to the nature of the case. That's fantastic. We'd really appreciate that. Before we end off here, is there any warnings or words of wisdom you'd like to give to our viewers? Well, as my pappy always said, never trust someone who pisses on your back and tells you it's raining.
Thank you for your time and words of wisdom. And now here is the police interview with one of the cultists. We have only edited out the cultist's figure, but left the audio completely undoctored.
What exactly is Larsology?
Thank you for asking me such an important question.
Lars.
Etymology is a wonderful religion. There are many niches that a wizard can specialize in, becoming the first ever wizard within those niches. For example, did you know that unicorn horn dust is used ritualistic in
Lars.
mythology? Imagine how specialized a wizard is when specialized in that.
Lars.
Etymology is also a religion that prides itself on how we heavily support workers' unions and make sure the oppressed people get better living conditions and better work. Just look at how the gnomes were oppressed before in Garcia. The great
Lars.
bought a lot of land that is for the gnomes to work on now, under the guidance of fiddlesticks. By doing so, we make sure that people will realize how they have been serving a fake god compared to the one and only God.
Lars.
Many workers, although, have already felt
Lars.
disgrace, and there are many big statues and idols around the world of God.
Lars.
Of course, there are some people that doesn't like our statues, like the Hutu people, which should die because it's blowing up one of my statues. Fucking Hutus.
Horrifying stuff. We remind our viewers that Wizard News has an open reward for any information as to the whereabouts of Lars. That's all we have for you today, but tune in next time for more information on the current state of the world.
Wizard News!